Thank you so much for taking the time to learn about us. Watching this video is a great place to start your journey of staying informed and staying safe, because it's always essential to understand the background source for the information you receive. In the next 10 minutes, we'll discuss our professional and educational backgrounds. And with that, may I introduce my husband, Keith Ludwick. I think you're going to be very impressed to hear about his experiences spanning the last 4 decades.
Thank you, Jennifer. In the late 1960s, a young man was impersonating a district attorney in Louisiana.
Didn't he have a law degree?
No.
Oh, gosh.
His office workers figured out that something wasn't quite right, so they basically chased him off. After that, he managed to log over 1 million miles as a deadheading pilot.
He didn't fly the plane, though.
No, he did not actually fly.
Thank goodness.
Next, he spent the next few years conning businesses and people out of a lot of time and money.
Hey, wait a minute. Is this the story of Frank Abagnale?
Yeah, yes, it is.
They made a movie about him.
He is made famous by the movie and book, Catch Me If You Can.
That's great.
What's important to think about there is he spent all of that time doing all of those things, and nobody ever bothered to check his credentials.
Oh, my goodness.
He's just one example of why checking backgrounds of professionals is essential, especially when they are sharing critical information. To build your confidence in our program, I'll explain my professional and educational backgrounds. Finally, Jennifer and I will share our reasoning for starting Stop Scamming Me and its critical mission. In the 1990s, I started my professional career as an officer and pilot in the United States Air Force. I flew strategic airlift in the C-141 in the first Desert Storm. Sadly, the C-141 is no longer in service, and I remember vividly watching the video on YouTube where they used a backhoe to crush it up into little itty-bitty pieces. It broke my heart.
Do you remember in our very first house, and you told the little kids next door that you'd been flying over the area and they were so impressed you flew this big plane, and they want to know if you saw them, and you told them that you had seen them from the plane waving.
At 30,000 feet.
They were so excited. They were so impressed with that.
After about 5 years of flying with the Air Force, the FBI recruited me as a pilot. I completed the intense vetting process, culminating in my training at the FBI Academy at Quantico, Virginia. This is a picture of me from my very first day at the FBI Academy.
Oh my gosh, look how young and cute you are. Don't worry, you're still cute.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you. Our first office was New York City, just after Jennifer and I got married. I spent most of my time conducting counterintelligence, national security, and counterterrorism investigations.
What's interesting, but didn't they hire you to be a pilot?
They did. I flew later on in my career, but not at first.
Yeah.
The work in New York City was fantastic, and it was an exciting place to live as a newly married couple. 5 years later, I transferred to St. Louis, Missouri to continue working on counterintelligence cases. Our next assignment took us to Fredericksburg, Virginia, about 2 years later, just south of Washington, D.C., where I was stationed at Quantico. Have you ever heard of James Bond?
Oh, well, of course, everybody's heard of James Bond. It's which James Bond is your favorite?
Well, I worked where Q worked in the Bond movies. I managed the development and policy of various technical devices, digital forensics, and covert entry operations. While there, I received the prestigious FBI Director's Award for Technical Advancement.
And I was gonna have it for you to show, and we've packed it away somewhere.
Oh.
I don't know where it is.
Well, there
But
you go.
it's there. It's in the house.
It's somewhere.
It's there somewhere. Next time, I'll bring that.
Finally, Jennifer and I realized we didn't want to stay where the white, cold, wet, yucky stuff happens every winter. We decided we liked warm, sandy, dry stuff so much more. So I transferred to the Tampa field office, courtesy of the FBI. Instead of watching cars pass me on the HOV lane, I was watching dolphins in the bay while on my commute. It was so much better.
I know. And I have to say, you're being very sweet to keep saying it was we. I was the one that was like, I'm done with it. You have to go somewhere where there's no snow. And so he graciously said, we got Tampa. Yes.
I was a hero. In Tampa, I continued in a supervisory role, managing all aspects of technology within the Tampa division. So here's a picture of my retirement party 23 years later. You see there is Jennifer, my daughter, and my son, And look how happy I am to be retiring.
We were all really happy for you to be retiring.
Since retiring from the FBI, I have pursued 2 different career paths. I am a full professor at a university teaching doctoral level courses in the intelligence department. My courses that I teach center on technology and intelligence policy. I also occasionally teach cyber, ethics, criminal justice at other universities as adjunct.
These poor kids. Let's be honest. He is such a hard grader. Dr. Ludwick is very engaging and he's super motivating to students, but dang, he is the hardest grader. You will never get 100 on a paper. Maybe 99 if you're perfect, but never 100.
Well, 100 is for perfect, isn't it? Finally, my wife and I started the Ludwick Agency, a private investigation and security consulting firm. We provide traditional investigative work, supporting lawyers, missing people, locating missing property, and I provide expert testimony. Stop Scamming Me is a subsidiary of the Ludwick Agency. But in addition to all of this professional work...
Okay, hold on. So a lot of people collect things like stamps. A lot of people collect coins. Another really great example, I think, is toys. A lot of collectible Star Wars toys out there. Well, I tease Keith relentlessly because some people collect things like shoes or handbags, and I'm telling you right now, he collects degrees. And it's true, and he's going to tell you that he's done, but I have it on good authority that he's looking at getting another degree, right?
Okay, seriously, I might be done. I don't know. But I have a bachelor's of science in computer science, a master's degree in homeland security, a master's degree in cybersecurity, and a PhD in biodefense, concentrating on terrorism studies.
That's true. Those were more recent. All right, well, here it is. He's looking at a master's in psychology, okay? It's true. I'm just telling.
Maybe.
Okay.
Maybe.
I just have a bachelor's in economics with a minor's in finance, and that's it for me.
As most people know, it's hard to sit here and talk about yourself. It feels like you're boasting. But I really believe it's important that you know I have the critical information to share with you. You should know that you're getting this information from a qualified, experienced professional. I'm proud to say that I have the investigative, research, academic, and technical background to support being an expert in this area.
Yes, and thank you so much for sharing your background. I know it's uncomfortable for you. You can download a printable resume for Keith and I on our webpage. Look for the link on our website for that information. In this day of misinformation and disinformation, it is absolutely critical to ensure that the source of your information is reliable and of unparalleled integrity. Even more important, do not just believe us because we said it. That's what happened with Frank Abagnale. In fact, in 2007, the Harvard Business Review defined an expert as an individual with the experience, academic background, and skills in a particular area. Dr. Ludwick has a bachelor's, 2 masters, and a doctorate in technology, cybersecurity, and national security and terrorism. He has spent 23 years in investigation as an FBI special agent and is now a doctoral professor of intelligence. Most recently, he's been the lead investigator in his own private investigation agency. That definitely qualifies him to help all of us be better informed on scams. With all this other work happening, what prompted us to start Stop Scamming Me? Well, that's really a deeply personal story. Keith and I received a call from a friend that we both knew from previous teaching. For privacy, let's call her Judy. She was still teaching part-time at a local private school while her husband was fully retired and staying home. And during that time, Judy discovered that her husband had become friends with someone via social media, just platonic friends talking and providing some, companionship during the day. This individual proceeded to scam Judy's husband for over $50,000.
I was shocked.
I was unbelievable. During months of phone calls when this person was pleading for help from him. When Judy finally discovered this and talked to her son, they confronted Judy's husband. Shockingly, he could not believe this person was a fraud. He actually refused to believe them. And so then you got the call from Judy.
That's right. Judy contacted me and I spoke with her husband in person. I researched the individual's background to show him that his friend was not a friend, but a fraud.
As I recall, it was everything that person had told him was untrue. There was nothing true about him.
No, fake everything. It was so upsetting to witness. Judy is an amazing, generous woman, and her husband is smart and kind. It was so frustrating to see this retired couple lose so much money with little opportunity to earn it back at their age. Sadly, I continue to receive more and more phone calls every week from other friends and associates who were victims of fraud. We even had a close friend lose her house to a scam, her whole house, just devastating at 76 years old.
I remember that was kind of the tipping point for us. We had dinner one night together and we had looked up some of the law enforcement reports on scams and seniors, and it was so distressing to see the numbers in those reports. We just knew that we could help somehow.
That's right. We are called to do this. Using my combined law enforcement and academic experiences, I spent a significant amount of time researching how scams and fraud are impacting our seniors and how they're conducted. Out of that came a plan for keeping our seniors informed and safe. Our mission with Stop Scamming Me is fueled by a deep, unwavering commitment to protect and educate everyone, ensuring that no one else has to experience the pain and devastation we have both witnessed.
Now you know that Keith is an expert on investigations, and he just explained why we launched Stop Scamming Me. Why should you be worried about staying informed?
Because you are the primary target for the scammers. You won't believe how much money these scammers are stealing from the residents in our communities. In our next video, Why You Are the Target, we'll explain what makes our senior population such an appealing target. Click on the video to continue your journey to stay informed and stay safe. For now, take a minute to click on the link below where you can review our resumes. Additionally, there's a link to the Harvard Business Review article we mentioned above. Lastly, the next time you have a free evening and decide to have a movie night, we suggest you watch Catch Me If You Can.
It's such a great movie.
We'll see you in the next video where you learn about what makes you so special.